Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm the Gnarly Gnome, and I'm sorry that it is Tuesday and not Monday. I know that messes up everybody's schedules. Sorry. Life, family life, dad life. Sometimes it just does. It doesn't work out the way you expect things to work out. But we're here. This is the show that is not a show. If you are new, if you don't typically hang out with us on Monday evenings, this is not a show, and that you have to know that right off the bat. This is completely unstructured. It's a happy hour. We all get together, we hang out, we usually have a drink, although Julia has jumped on the chat and said that she is waiting in the Skyline drive-thru and doesn't have a beer yet because of that. So the rest of us are drinking without her. There are really fun ways that you can take part in this show. Number one, wherever you're listening, you can jump on the chat right there in the app and take part that way. It will appear on the screen here in just a minute. Or if you are really crazy, you can also call in. We do have the drunk line, which is available. It's 567-70-DRINK. That's 567-703-7465. You can call right into the show and take part that way. But that is the point of the show, is to take part. It's, like I said, a happy hour. It's not just me sitting here talking by myself. So let me fix this. Okay. I was camping this weekend, which is why things didn't happen the way they were supposed to. So I'll dig into that a little bit. We'll talk about some of the Oktoberfest showdowns that have occurred. Actually, in your world, there's only one. In my world, I did two this weekend. So there is another one coming. So stay tuned for that. You saw them both, I think. I think you guys are caught up. We had... I don't have the bracket in front of me. I think the only one that we're waiting on, that I am actually still waiting on, West Side is going to be battling against Big Ash this weekend, hopefully, as soon as I get my hands on Big Ash's Oktoberfest. Their labels just came in today, so the cans should be happening this week. And then supposedly 16 Lots is hitting cans this year, though I haven't seen them. So once I figure that out, they will be the last addition to the first round, and they, as in 16 Lots, gets to battle against a foreigner, an imported Oktoberfest. So that'll be interesting to see how some of those imported ones hold up against what we've got going on locally. After that, we move into round two. And round two gets really exciting because one of the losers gets to come back into the competition. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We need to talk about what we're drinking. I am drinking a lot. I have, this is an Urban Artifact paperweight, maybe. Finishing up that one. And then I needed something a little bit different, so I've got some Applejack, some apple brandy, because it's been a hell of a day, a hell of a week, a hell of a month. And then I'm about to dive into my very last Fretboard Klostermann Honey Wheat lager. You guys can see that. This is a delicious beer. So I'll be cracking into that here in just a second. Going back to Oktoberfest. One of the losers, and I hate calling them losers, but one of the eliminated beers, let's put it that way, will be getting a chance to come back into the competition, which is new for this year, and I think it's cool. There's a couple that have gotten eliminated that are disappointing to me that they got eliminated. It's sad to me, so there will be a chance for you guys to vote on which one you want to come back, and I will have a full list of all the ones that have been eliminated. I'll have kind of the first stage of the bracket a little easier for you guys to see here soon. And then round two, and then I believe the way I'm going to do it this year, after round two, it should get narrowed down to 3 or 4 beers, something like that. maybe a little bit more than that. I can't remember. And those will just go straight to the finals, and we'll drink all of them and decide from those which one is the best. So it's getting close. I don't know if you guys have all seen the video from this this weekend. If I can pull it up here and maybe share the link. This was Moreline, or no, that was different. This was Wiedemann versus Brink. We'll talk about the Moreline one here in just a second. This one was really, really difficult. The beers are way more similar than I anticipated they were going to be. Hang on, I'm trying to share a link here, guys. You'd think that I would have this a little more streamlined. There we go. I don't know if that populates into all of your streaming platforms, though. Can you guys see that link that I shared, or does it just show in Restream? I don't know. I don't know how that works. We'll figure it out. But anyways, the two beers were extremely, extremely similar, and crazy to me how close they were just tasting them back and forth. So it was tough. The other one that I did, I just posted on Instagram stories. That one was a complete shocker to me. It was the Moreline Woots, and it was against Grainworks. And my completely biased mind ahead of time, I expected Grainworks to wipe the floor with that Moreline beer. I've had both of those beers already this year. And in my mind, I thought the Grainworks was way better, but trying them next to each other, that Moreline was fantastic. I ran it by everybody that was camping with us, and had everybody try it blindly and pick their favorite, and it was a unanimous winner. So hats off to Moreline for putting out an absolute banger. Let me crack into this beer. Today's show, that is not a show, today's episode is sponsored by me, by Gnome Creative. If you guys don't know, that is the name of my company. And we do need to start talking about that more often. In my normal life, when I'm not sitting in front of a microphone or sitting next to one of you at a bar, I'm a photographer. I take pictures. That's what photographers do. Sometimes I make videos, audio production, all of that stuff. So that is the machine that makes all of this stuff work. Yeah, I mean, Patreon too plays into that, and the merch store and things like that. All of those do help support this show that is not a show. So if you want to help, you can do that by supporting any of those things. Go to thenarlygnome.com, or go to gnomecreative.com. Though admittedly, there's not a lot on gnomecreative.com. But if you need any of those services, I would be more than happy to help you. And then I can help you help me. So this, I dumped the little last bit. I don't know if you guys can see the little haze kind of settling in from the very bottom of the can, but really pretty beer, golden like honey. And it has it does have a kind of a honey wheat aroma, but not over the top. It's definitely like an easy drinking lager, first and foremost. Oh, so good. Super crisp. That honey comes in, not as like an over-the-top sweetness, but definitely the honey flavor is there. And then it's not when you think of a wheat beer, You may think of a Hefeweizen or something like that. That's not what this is. It's a crisp, clean, just it adds a little bit of body to the beer, makes it a little bolder than just a light lager. It's a great beer. I love it. Really disappointed this is my last one that is in the fridge. So I look forward to the next time that this hits shelves again, or maybe I'll find some more sitting around in the meantime. So camping. I have to keep rotating through all of my drinks since I have a smorgasbord here, a buffet of drinks. Before I dive into my camping experience, feel free to chime in. Tell me what you guys did this weekend. It was a holiday weekend, Labor Day, and hopefully everybody had a few drinks, hung out with some friends or family, and partook. If you guys have never had Laird's Applejack, it's really good. It's it might be one of my favorite apple brandies because the apple is still so pronounced in it. It's not too hot, and it lets some of that apple flavor shine through. I'm also coughing now all of a sudden. It's not COVID, though. Though I don't see Marco, so we don't have to worry about me being accused of having COVID. I am not only fully vaccinated, I had COVID in March, so I'm super immune right now, as far as I understand. You know how that goes. Everything you understand one day changes the next. All right, so I was camping, like I said, this weekend. Easy camping. So, well, let me start back. So you guys know last week the show was delayed a day because we were on vacation. We took this trip out of town, got back into town, I guess Monday, sort of, like really, really late Monday night, early Tuesday, and then had just that little short week. And then Friday, as soon as I walked in the door from work that day, we loaded up the car and took off to my wife's parents' house to camp for a few days. We do it every Memorial Day, and every Labor Day we do a family camp out. I say camp out like that because it's in a yard. I mean, they have a little bit of land, and we set up tents out in the far reaches of the yard. But if you need to go in the house or want to go in the house, it's just a short little walk to get into the house. There's a swimming pool close by. There's running water. It's not exactly roughing it too much, which is part of my gripe. I'll get to that. Julia is finally home, she says, and is now drinking a fig leaf Ponderosa porter. That's an inside joke for anybody who doesn't know. It is very difficult, evidently, for some people in this world to read the names of beers on a menu board, and they mispronounce a lot of things a lot. So in the Fig Leaf Tap Room, Ponderous Porter often gets mispronounced as Ponderosa Porter. The Basmati cream ale gets transposed into balsamic cream ale, I believe, which is just disgusting. Julia says, Marco and I just talked about your camping situation on tonight's recording session. That is Truth, Beer, and Podsequences for anybody who is not subscribed to that show. Yeah, so my camping setup, we are, there are not many people that spend the whole time out actually camping. A lot of them migrate into the house or back and forth or something like that. I stay out there the whole time because I love being outside and I love camping. Everybody else, not so much. So it just gets worse and worse every single time we go camping. Before you know it, by day 2 or 3, I'm sitting out there with my coffee in the morning, just kind of looking around, wondering, well, where did everybody go? They're all inside the house watching TV and using the microwave. It's slightly frustrating to me, but yeah, we'll get there. We started this backyard camping like a few years back. My wife and my sister-in-law were never campers growing up. I've been camping since I was a little tiny kid, and it's a huge part of my life. Not so much with my wife. So we decided, me and my brother-in-law decided we wanted to start easing people into this so that eventually we could start camping and make that part of our summer excursions, our adventures. We thought that this would be a nice way to start easing people into that. More kids came along, and it's kind of just postponed the leap to an actual camp out with the wives. So that's why we do this camping with them. Marco says hello. Sorry I'm late. That's all right, Marco. We will forgive you. So that's that. Cincy Brewcast this week. Just got word today that the planned show for tomorrow is canceled, of course. So I have a show topic that I know I want to do, and maybe a place that I want to do it at. I will. I'm not 100% sure who's this week's guest will be yet, but stay tuned for that. Or if any of you guys want to sit down and be on the show, shoot me a message, and maybe we'll make that happen. But I do have a topic, and it's a fun one. It's a little less Cincy Brewcast, as typical Cincy Brewcast episodes you might expect. A little more shift beer-esque. So it'll be good. It'll be fun. It's one I've been wanting to tackle one of these days. I actually was thinking about doing it with Drinking with the Gnome, but I think it'll fit into Cincy Brewcast just fine. Hope everybody got to listen to the Klostermann episode. I thought that was fun to get to sit down with them. There's obviously been tons of changes at Klostermann, and lots of people talking about what that means around that. So it was good to kind of, I don't know if I cleared up any misconceptions or rumors, but I definitely kind of talked a little bit about how it's affected them or not affected them. The day is tomorrow, Marco. Tomorrow evening. And Julia wants to know how she got home and joined before Marco. For anybody who doesn't know, Marco lives very close to the place that they record Truth, Beer, and Consequences. Marco says, not really, but they didn't want to talk about it. I get it. It's a fine line that you want to kind of tread on a little bit. I thought they covered it the best way that they maybe could. Talked about Dan did kind of talk about some of the improvements that have happened since some of the changes. I think whenever, I shouldn't say whenever, because sometimes it's the kiss of death for a place. With Klostermann, Klostermann has always had some of these changes in very important personnel, be it head brewers or beyond. When those changes happen, it changes the personality a little bit of who Klostermann is in that era. But every time it does happen, it kind of solidifies this bigger picture of Klostermann's personality that does kind of go bigger than any one person, Dan Klostermann included. It a very it's a very big picture for them. Why is everybody jumping over to YouTube all of a sudden? This is exciting. As far as other brewcasts that are coming up, let me look at the calendar. I do have some good stuff. Julia's on both. Let's see. Okay, that one, I won't say who canceled on me, but that's I think I mentioned it last week probably. We have a fun Street Side episode coming up. We are going to talk about their anniversary and Demogorgon Day. For any of you who haven't heard about that, that's going to be awesome. You guys know I assume you know, I'm a huge Demogorgon fan. I'm a fan of several Imperial Stouts locally, but one of them definitely being Demogorgon. There's been a couple of those variants that I think have just been definitely among my favorite beers released in the city. That apple brandy Demogorgon, the first one, just absolutely blew my mind. So that'll be a good episode. I haven't gotten to sit down and talk to Garrett for a while. It'll be good to do that. After that, I have a tentative live recording of an episode. I don't know how you word that. Out at Sonder for their Oktoberfest. However, I believe I'm going to have a guest on that episode. So it's just going to be like a normal Cincy Brewcast done on location. Maybe I'll bring a speaker so you guys can hear what we're talking about. And that's going to be Jason Brewer, formerly of Klostermann. So we're going to talk about some of the stuff that he's got going on. After that, we are going to be headfirst into the Great Cincinnati Oktoberfest quest, the showdown, the quest for the best fest. Marco says it sounded like Dan wanted less red tape. He wanted to make decisions, and they were executed, not questioned. Possibly. I think that definitely had a little part of it, that's for sure. Marco says, I hope you at Saunders volunteer. Julia says, the cinnamon fireball Demogorgon has been my favorite so far. I think I still have a maple one in my fridge. There's been some really great variants. So after Oktoberfest Quest Showdown, excuse me guys. Oh, sorry. I have a couple non-confirmed tentative things, and then we move on towards the end of October. I have plans to do a pumpkin spiced spectacle. I am hoping to get that episode to also be on location and sponsored on location. Stay tuned for that. I have a couple places that I reached out to see if they were interested in sponsoring the episode. We need to do more sponsored episodes. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. Drink a bunch of pumpkin spiced beer and talk about pumpkin everything and what it means. Julia says, any plans on a Schwarzbier or Bach showdown similar to the current Oktoberfest showdown? Schwarzbier, no. Definitely no, because they just don't release close enough together. It makes it too difficult. The fun thing about Oktoberfest, or maybe Bach, we'll talk about that. The fun thing about Oktoberfest is that they all get released within a month of each other. Within that 4 or 5 weeks, you get all of these beers dropping around town, and that's half the fun to me, is that seasonality of it. Which brings up Bach. I have debated doing a Bach showdown. The problem with Bach is that not a lot of them go to packaging. Whereas Oktoberfest, we do get a huge selection of package. Oh, Lord. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. We do get a very large selection of packaged Oktoberfest. So it makes it just logistically very hard to do it. I would love to be able to drive around town, pick up growlers or crowlers or packaged bock beers, get them all together and do a showdown. Maybe one of these years I'll do something at Bockfest where I line up all of the beers that are on tap at Bockfest and do it there, or some kind of Bock event like that. We could do that, but it still would be different because it would just be all of the beers that are available there. It still isn't all-encompassing, which, to be fair, Oktoberfest Quest is not all-encompassing since I just do the packaged ones. I just do the packaged ones because logistically, that's the only thing I can do right now. I'm running on every possible cylinder that I can squeeze out of my work week and my life week right now, to try to make it around to all of these fantastic breweries and pick up their Oktoberfest is just a hair beyond what I can manage right now. That's not to say in the future, as things look differently, I can't go into a ton of detail about that, but as things look differently in coming years, maybe Oktoberfest Quest will grow too. I think it'll be so much fun to be able to line up every single Oktoberfest that is released in this city. It's still a little bit difficult timing wise. You have places like I was hoping that before this week I would have all of round one done, but I'm still waiting on those one or two to be released. So that makes it difficult. So it's logistics with everything. I want to talk about Big Sis a little bit. We did Big Sis tapping last week. It was a smaller event than it's been other years for lots of reasons, but the beer is amazing. If you guys get a chance to get out to Municipal to grab a pint or several of it, it's a English-ish pale ale is what I'm calling it. I think they're just calling it an English pale ale, but it is loaded with some really big, delicious American hops. So not very English in a lot of its personality. It starts with kind of that nutty, biscuity kind of English personality a little bit. Immediately, these big hops come in, these big kind of juicy, citrusy American hops. And then finishes at the end with that nutty, biscuity kind of character. It's really, really great beer. Like I said, if you get a chance to get out to Municipal, grab some of that, or if you do see it somewhere, grab it. I don't know how far and wide it's going to make it out there, but if you see it somewhere, drink a ton of it. I cannot remember which charity they are using this year. But the discussion has already started of next year and where the beer is going to go, and the charity aspect, how that's going to kind of start evolving into something a little more organized. And not that things aren't organized now, but we're going to really kind of start to dial it in so that this is something that can live for a very long time. So yeah, Big Sis will be back next year, and bigger and better than ever is my intention. Hopefully next year, when it's time to do the beer, I'll be able to pay a little more of my attention to the event and the beer and the process. My attention is just being pulled in a lot of different directions right now. By my choice and by not my choice. So it's also, as I'm definitely realizing over time, it's important to get people into some of those roles around you to pick up the slack on things that maybe you drop the ball on a little bit. So we'll figure it out. We'll figure everything out. It's a learning experience. So yeah, my week has been not that I mean, extremely eventful, but not that eventful. It's just packed full of work and trying to keep the house in some kind of semblance of order. There's few things less frustrating than, when you go on vacation, you want to kind of come back. You want to come back to a clean house, so you try to get things as clean as you can before you walk out the door. And we did pretty good with that when we took our vacation a couple weeks ago. We came back and the house was okay. But we walked into the house at, I don't remember what time it was, the middle of the night. Drug a bunch of stuff in from the car. Not everything from the car. We're going to leave this stuff out here and just kind of slowly bring it in so that we don't destroy the house. Well, then, like, the next day or something, my wife had to do something, a whole bunch of crap. I don't remember what it was. She had to bring everything in, so it all got dumped in the house. We started to get all that put together, and then this camping trip this weekend just exploded again because we walked in the house at 10-something last night and had to get up and go to work today. And today was first day of preschool, first day of this year's preschool for my oldest. So we were a little nervous about her getting up and moving today. We have dance class starting. We have soccer starting. We have all the events you can imagine getting ready to kick in. So, it's chaos. The house is kind of a little bit put together. I had to run down here like 10 minutes before the show started tonight and try to get this room put back together. This ends up being a work zone pretty much every day of the week. As I'm packing bags for different events or work or things like that, you end up with stuff just laying everywhere. This table gets full of crap. And Marco said, "Didn't know you took dance class." Nice. Yeah, I can do a mean plie. Remind me, I'll show you sometime. I would do it now, but I just don't have enough space in here to do it. So, sorry. Maybe if you guys come out to Sonder to watch me record live that night, maybe I'll do some plies. Julia says, "We appreciate you waiting through the chaos to have a beer with us once a week. The feeling is very mutual. The chance to just get down here and sit and kind of shut off all the other stuff for a minute is very important to me. So I appreciate you guys sitting and having a beer with me, even if most of the time I don't actually get to drink the beer while I'm in the middle of the show because I'm so concerned with talking to you. Speaking of which, I will take a swig. I always feel like that dead silence is horrible broadcasting, so I try not to do it. I need to, in the future, one of these days, try to work more guests onto the Weekly Pint. Probably not in person. I think that is half of what the Weekly Pint is kind of about, is everybody being at their own house. So if there ever are guests that will either just come in on the phone with the drunk line like you guys have all called in, or just bring people in through Skype or one of those Skype-like services, something like that. So you'll see them, but they won't really be here. We'll wrap things up. I know that Julia says the silence is less weird on video than audio, since we can see why there's silence. It does. It makes perfect sense. And logically, I know that it's fine to do. I've watched plenty of videos and you see people, taking a drink and things like that, and it doesn't ever seem strange, but it feels strange to me. Maybe it's because I've done so many podcasts and I get so consumed with just listening. Like I'm even right now, like when I'm sitting here talking to you guys, I'm looking over here at the chat. If I want to actually see what you guys are seeing, I have to look over here, which sometimes I'll look over there, but I'm hearing. I'm not necessarily seeing the show the way you guys are. So it feels very strange. I know I threw everybody off by doing a Tuesday episode this week, so I apologize if anybody didn't catch the Facebook message and was sitting there with their phone waiting for a show last night that never came. I know it becomes part of our routines to see things when we see them, but I just couldn't do it. So I apologize. You're not supposed to apologize for these things, is what they always tell you, but I am very sorry. I would say it won't happen again, but it will definitely happen again. Mondays are still probably the easiest night. There's no chance of ever doing something like this on a weekend consistently, or pretty much any other day of the week. There's always just so many things that pop up, but Mondays seem to be good. Usually, unless I'm headed out to Fretboard to watch a podcast being recorded, then it becomes interesting. But we've all been there. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you hanging out with me. If you did not watch the Oktoberfest Quest showdown that I put on YouTube, please jump over and watch that. Hopefully, I do have another. I have another vlog that is recorded and kind of started editing. It has a ways to go, but actually, I have a lot of them. I have probably 10 videos that are started, but either won't happen or won't happen for a while. But Marco says, and you should next Monday with the Outcast podcast. I'm going to try to. I haven't talked to my wife about it yet, but I'm going to try to. There's a lot of stuff coming up. Let's look at my schedule here next week. Monday, as of right now, there's nothing on my calendar except for this. Tuesday is a long day. I have a brewcast during the day, some other work stuff, and then I'm headed up to Dayton to see Zane Lamprey perform live. And then the next day, Wednesday, down here, I'll be at Fretboard watching Zane Lamprey live. And then that weekend, Saturday, the 18th, is there are 2 different Oktoberfests on my calendars with question marks by them. There is a soccer game. My 4-year-old plays soccer that morning and has soccer picture day. So, like I said, I haven't talked to my wife yet. Let's see. Julia says, first you moved to Hamilton, now Dayton. Sheesh. Matt says, I heard you're moving from Dayton to Dayton from Hamilton. I love Hamilton, Ohio. I don't know that I could ever live in Hamilton, Ohio. Same with Dayton. I love Dayton. Don't know that I could ever live there. Marco says, see you Wednesday for sure. I will definitely be there on Wednesday. With my wife is coming with me that day. I think the old man, my stepdad, I think he's coming too. Maybe I don't know. There's been some close COVID contact in their circle, so we'll see how that pans out for them. Hopefully they stay healthy, and he's able to do that. But I'm gonna try to make it out to Fretboard on Monday. I will let you guys know. I won't let all of you know. I'll let Matt know if I'm gonna be there. The rest of you, if you see me sitting there with a beer in my hand, then you know that I was able to make it. It's the chaos in my house is so real. We're having, if we want to get real for a second, we're having all kinds of childcare issues. We are always having childcare issues, but it's getting more and more difficult. That conversation that happens on those days where my wife looks at me and she says, I can't miss work. And I look at her and I'm like, well, I can't miss work. Then not knowing what the hell you're supposed to do in that situation, like how do you do it, is not only not fun from a logistical life standpoint, it's not fun from a personal relationship standpoint either. It makes everybody grumpy and angry with each other, and chaos. It's pure chaos. On the plus side, my 10-year anniversary with my wife is coming up, so I'm sure we'll have a blast. Matt Damaris says, call me. I'm a qualified kid watcher. Well, I will pass that on. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me on a special Tuesday episode of the show that is not a show. It's still fun on a Tuesday. It's just weird. It makes it feel like a Monday. We'll be back next week. Everybody, everything Julia said. Have an amazing week, and hopefully I'll see you guys on Monday for the Fretboard, or the Outcast podcast at Fretboard. And yes, subscribe to Truth, Beer, and Consequences. Thank you, guys. You can't hear the music. Forgot to hit a button. There we go. I'll figure this out one of these days. Get to hang all this crap. Cheers, everybody.